Hey guys, so in this video I thought maybe I should go through like visually what's happening in the GJK and the EPA algorithm, because I could not find any such video when I was learning about this stuff. So yeah, let's start. Um, so here I have two shapes, right? A sphere and a cube, and I want to find out whether these two things are colliding or not. That's it. GJK answers that, and the first thing it does, it tries to find a support point. Now, before I continue, I'm assuming that you know the terminology, like what a support point is, what's a Minkowski difference, and yeah. So there are many videos there where you can learn about this stuff. Pretty straightforward. The Minkowski here, the points that you see, they are the, what do you call them, the Minkowski difference points, and I'm assuming that you know what a convex hull is, and yeah. So I'm going to be going through this pretty quickly, and I hope you keep up. Right. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I'll be glad to help you out. Right. So with that said, I think I should continue. So the first thing I do, the first thing GJK does, it tries to find a support point in some random initial direction. So in this case, I choose 1, 1, 1, and the support point for this on the Minkowski difference is this yellow point here. This is basically a point which is aligned the most. Basically, the dot product of this vector, this yellow position minus the origin, this vector has the maximum dot product with this direction that I've chosen. This is basically the highest projection also, right? So yeah, so this I selected this support point first. Now I go to the opposite direction because it's just a point. For a point, I go to the opposite direction. I chose this as the support point next. No, I didn't, but GJK did, right? So next, this is a line. It now checks whether the origin is close to the line, or where it is. So it found that it's not close to the line, which we can see, and then what it does is it projects the point onto the line and then tries to find, and then gets the new direction that I have to search for in the Minkowski difference for a new support point, basically. It found this to be the support point, right, this one here, and now it checks whether this triangle, whether the origin is inside the area of this triangle. If it's not, it tries to find the distance, or the projection of this origin onto the triangle, and with that you get a new direction. So in this case, we got a new direction. The point is not on the line, the origin is not on the line, so this becomes a tetrahedron. So the fourth point was this, right? So we got a tetrahedron, and now as you can see, the origin is inside the volume of this tetrahedron, right? So the origin is inside the Minkowski difference, and that's what we wanted, right? So in GJK, it uses the fact that the Minkowski difference of these two shapes, if the origin lies inside the volume of this Minkowski difference, like if you make the convex hull of this Minkowski difference and the origin is inside of it, then the two bodies that made this Minkowski difference are colliding. That's what GJK does, right? So if I move this, let's see a different configuration like this, right? Let's see what happens now. Oh shit. Yeah. So first I selected a random direction, right? 1, 1, 1, and this was a support point. Then I select the opposite one. It was this. This has the maximum projection, I think. Yeah, that looks right. Yeah. So this has the maximum projection onto this direction. So I select this. Then the origin is projected onto this simplex, this line in this case. So that gives me another direction, and that makes a triangle, right? Then I find out whether the origin is inside the triangle, which it is not, so it will project it, and then it will find a new direction from the projected point. And it, what point did it select? Oh, this point, this yellow point here. Now in this case, the origin is not inside the volume, right? So again, I project this point onto the tetrahedron, in which case it's this triangle. So because it's just this triangle, right, it does not need the other three faces, right? It just needs this triangle because that's where the projected point is, right? So I get this triangle again. I try to find, this gave me a new direction. I find the point, the support point, and now I check whether the point is inside the volume of the tetrahedron, which I think it is not, right? So it's pretty close actually. I don't know. This is again a very, very small tetrahedron, and in this case, yeah, it told me, like the point was inside the tetrahedron volume, so it basically says that yeah, these things are colliding, right? The collision was, the distance between them was pretty low, so that's why I think it took more steps, but I think it also depends on the orientation, where they are. So it might not be the first tetrahedron that you find. The first tetrahedron does not contain the origin. That can be, many cases. But yeah, that's in short the GJK, what it does. Now let's move on to EPA, what it's doing. For this, I need to enable backside culling. So I'll do that. Build. Let's go. So EPA, the purpose of EPA is basically to tell me whether, so I know already that these two things are colliding. Now what I want to know, where they are colliding, like what the distance between the penetration is, like how much are these things penetrating, so that later on when I resolve the collision, I know how much I have to move the objects by in order to make sure that they are not colliding now, right? And also I need to know the direction of the movement. So in this case, orange cube minus green cube will give me the direction where they have to move, right? So this thing will move up. This thing will move up. Okay. So yeah. So EPA starts off from where GJK left, right? And what the purpose of EPA is to find the closest triangle from the origin, right? And that triangle has to be on the perimeter of the convex hull that we get out of this Minkowski difference shape, right? So how does it do it? So GJK gave me this tetrahedron, right? And it is guaranteed that the point is inside, the origin is inside the tetrahedron, because that's how I knew the things were colliding, right? So the first thing that it has to do, it has to find whatever shape it has, it tries to find the triangle which is the closest to the origin. So in this case it was this. Then along this normal, on the projection of this triangle, I find a new support point. What I'll do then is, since this triangle is not on the perimeter, now remember, we need to find the triangle which is closest to the origin and is also on the perimeter of the convex hull, right? And that will only be possible when, if I go beyond the triangle. So I am going beyond the triangle here, and I find that there is actually a support point which is on the perimeter. So this triangle is not, basically, that's how it knows that this triangle is not part of the convex hull, right? So what I do is, I find the support point, and through the support point, whatever faces are facing this support point, I remove all of them, right? So before I had 4 triangles, now I have only 2 triangles. Now it removed those triangles, but now it has to fill in the void, right? So these four things, two triangles were removed, so we have four edges here. I fill them up, right? The next thing it has to do, it has to again find the closest triangle, which in this case it's this. It finds that it's not on the perimeter of the convex hull because it found a support point in the direction. So it removes the triangle, right? And then it fills the void, right? The void, the hole got filled, right? Again, I do the same thing. I find the closest triangle, and I also found that it's not on the perimeter because I got an extreme point here. So I remove the triangle, and I remove two triangles actually, because for this point, in these two things are facing, right? So the dot product, is pretty close, positive, right? So I do that. Again, I found a closest triangle. I also found a support point, so it's not, so I remove it, right? This support point, again I got a support point, so I remove that triangle and all the other facing triangles, right? So in this case also I found a support point. Bro, this is going on. Okay, so I think now we are in a position where this is the triangle, it's the closest, I think. No, okay. Void. Okay, so it found, right? So in this case, it found the closest triangle out of all of these, this polytope that it had, convex polytope. It found that there is a triangle which is closest to it out of all the triangles in this polytope, right? And there is no like extremum point in the Minkowski difference. See, because the sign, the support point is missing, right? So I know that this is the closest triangle which is on the convex hull. So what I do is I project this point on this triangle. This is the yellow cube here. I find the barycentric coordinates of this point in relation to this triangle, and then what I do is I use the same barycentric coordinates, these shapes, and they give me the contact points. That's basically what the EPA algorithm is doing in short. Right? So yeah, I think this might not, I know I have not been thorough, but I think there are other videos out there, other articles. If you read about it, you will get to know like what a convex hull is if you don't already know, or what a support point is, what the Minkowski difference is, why do we need to get the Minkowski difference. All of those things, I think there are many videos out there on YouTube also, and on their articles as well, right? So I hope you got some more understanding about GJK and EPA, and thank you for watching.